So I want to get started with this movie is very intense. So what was it about Dawn as a character that first sort of attracted you to the part and to the movie?
I thought that Dawn was a really relatable character where she's single momming it, working hard, trying. I love that she's sort of really complex. She's an artist. She's trying to make ends meet, supporting her son. And I think the Airbnb aspect is interesting. She's sort of one of the rare ones that actually meets the guests.
Mhm.
Most people in real life, you kind of just like, I think with Airbnb, you don't ever really get to know the people that will rent out the space. So I think that she's had interesting interactions. And I just like that she's like this strong woman who she's up against, you know, the battle of custody for her son and trying to figure life out and wanting to date again. And there's just like so much complexity to her. But and she's an artist. Again, going back to that point, it's hard to choose to be an artist, I think, in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, she obviously gets held hostage. So it's like there are
Yeah.
all these, like you mentioned, there's so many challenges. So when you're starting to dissect the scenes, was there a particular aspect that proved more emotionally taxing for you?
Probably the most is when she's in serious delirium.
Mm,
And it's probably day two, and it's just she's sort of losing her mind and doesn't know what's real and what's not. I like the story that it's like this mystery, this suspense mystery where you're trying to figure out who done it, along with some comedy, which always is needed, and especially this type of movie.
yeah, absolutely. And then when you are in that delirium, you're kind of, I mean, you're tied to the bed. So it's like, what kind of physical challenges? Because I think you said it was day two. So, what kind of physical challenges that present where you're just like have to bring that energy yourself when you don't really have anyone you're acting opposite for a lot of it. And so what's it like just channeling that from within yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of work prior to working on any film because usually nowadays we don't get many rehearsals, and so I sort of worked on it a lot before. And when we went to film those scenes, I mean, literally, it was I think 3 or 4 days, like just tied up in the bed with potty breaks and lunch breaks, but that was about it. So that alone was taxing. Uh, but I don't know. I think a lot of times actors do what ifs and or substitution, different types of modalities to build in the depth in their character. It's
Mm.
hard to it's hard to always say what, to on that personal level to describe it, but it definitely helped being stuck in that bed.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of tension. So what was your working with Anna with sort of just crafting the sort of the ambiance of the film where it's like this tense environment, but there's also like there's a lot of lighthearted moments where you're with your son with Jay Jay's character. What was the just working with her as a director?
I mean, Annie was incredible as a director. She's so outside the box. I think that she brought this film, there's so many dimensions to this film, and she's not about just keeping to one genre. She loves the real storylines with the mother and son. She loves the best friends. She loves the art, the drama, the suspense, the sexuality, there's obviously different dramatic moments in the film. And Annie is so full of energy. She has so much conviction. She's always positive, always motivated, wants to make the best film she can. And she's really collaborative. We were able to work on a lot of the different scenes and continue to work together rather than just, uh, her just dictating like what it is she wants. Like she was very open to getting the best that we can. So And it was fun with all the different actors too. I
Mm.
mean, a really talented cast.
Yeah, yeah, no, there's it's a great cast. And then so I don't want without giving too much away about the film's ending, but it's like what was your first initial reaction to the twist and sort of fallout from that twist?
Well, you want to build into any story something that you don't see coming.
Mm.
It's the fun part is like you don't know what the ending will be. And hopefully people don't know until the end. Um, so, and it's hard to say anything without giving it away, but you know, people, it's sort of like the least person that you would suspect being the person that did it or is responsible for it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really one where you had to go back and watch it again to see if you missed any clues. But so then when you're also you're playing a mother in this movie again after you did this great show Stargirl a few years ago. So what was the kind of did that sort of inform your performance here, or did you want to make it completely different from that character?
No, I think, it's way different than that character.
Mm,
Being a mother in real life in general has helped me play a mother because I
yeah.
have more personal experience, so I can relate to it. I have played mothers prior to being a mother, but now I'm like, oh, I get the nuances and I get the deeper relationship that you have being a mother. So, but I feel like this character, Dawn, is way different than the character Barbara in Stargirl. Like
Mm,
they just Barbara was in Stargirl, like she was the matriarch. She is keeping the family together. She is, sort of multitasking in so many ways in a very family-oriented life, where Dawn is like this artist who thinks outside the box and is trying to like make ends meet and be a single parent and but live in this like beautiful countryside. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then when you do have like a ending that's sort of like that, and she is art, she's creative, and she gets very creative near the end. So was there ever any like alternate sort of paths that you guys discussed, or was this always scripted like how it's supposed to go?
so the film has changed in some ways.
Hmm.
Um, and we've had to sort of work through that because and I'm not sure how much I should say, but it was originally called Blunt.
Hmm.
And there was much more like marijuana smoking in it. But when we went to sell it originally, the streaming service was like, no, that's not going to really work for our audience. So we had to cut out some stuff,
Hmm.
but
Oh,
still
okay.
make it work. So that was challenging, but I think actually it still really works without what we thought was necessary for the script.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean it's a fun movie to watch. And then so was there anything about after playing part like Dawn, and I'm sure with all of your roles, is there anything from Dawn that you take away from you moving on to your next projects?
I do think that when I work on whatever character, I learn from that character,
Hmm.
and some of their lessons end up getting, personal in my own life. And for that character, it really sort of brought out the artist in me, like the creative artist. I now take pottery classes, which I never thought I could do. And so it's sort of on a personal note, like branched me out to explore my more artistic side other than acting. I know acting is artistic, but like
Hmm.
I think more of the concrete, painting and sculpting and that type of art. So that inspired me more in a way because it's so easy to get caught in life just doing your day to day and not using that creative energy in your mind to move out of your comfort zone and do something that's different and that you think you can't do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to keep it too long, but I'm a big fan. So, and there's a show that you did so many years ago, Scrubs, and I was
Yeah.
wondering if you had any if you remember anything from that experience with that show coming back in like next year, I think. But is there anything you remember from that character, or is that a character you'd want to revisit at any point?
I would definitely revisit the Tasty Coma wife. I mean, it was just honestly such a fun, quirky show to do. Um, Zach is hilarious. The whole cast was really great. The writers, it took, the medical world and flipped it around and brought so much levity to it. But then there's also obviously heartfelt moments as well in that show. So I felt like it was really innovative for the time for its time, and dark and twisted. I mean, my character called Tasty Coma Wife. I mean,
Mm.
that's not the typical medical, show type of character. So,
Yeah. I mean, but it was
um,
like, I mean, yeah.
yeah. So, and there's like fun fantasy, in that show, and
Mm.
and it goes on all these weird tangents, and um, so I loved working on that. It was just like a blast.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was such a, I mean, it's such a fun part. And then that was the first thing that popped in my head when the email came
Yeah.
across. So I was like, Amy Smart, it's Scrubs. But, and then outside of that, are there any other parts for that? Because you've done so many great movies, Butterfly Flag, Just Friends, Crank. But it's like, is there any other characters that you ever think of? But it's like, oh, that's someone I could maybe see, revisiting at some point.
I mean, I thought about, maybe at some point if we could do like a Just Friends 2, that would be really fun.
Mm,
I would potentially do a Crank 3, maybe if my
yeah.
bones would take it. It's been a while.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I wish Stargirl went longer. That
mm,
was just unfortunate that the CW was sold and they didn't really pick up many of the shows that they had on.
yeah.
But I loved working with that group. I loved Jeff Johns, who created it, and it was so fun with Luke and Breck and Trey. And so I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was, I mean, that was an awesome show. I wish, yeah, like you said, I wish it continued as well.
I
But
wish that continued. And who knows? The industry is so hard to read right now. So,
mm,
I'm not sure where things are going, but there are really great roles that continue to come out. So that's exciting.
yeah, and it's always awesome to see you something pop up in something real. So, but thank you so much for your time, Amy. I really appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you so much too. It was really nice to meet
It
you.
was great to meet you too. Can't wait for people to see the movie, but thank you so much.
Thank you. I can't wait to. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.